Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2012 Masters of the Universe Classics Draego-Man action figure from Mattel. Right from the beginning of the Masters of the Universe Classics line in 2008, it seems that Mattel had planned to release both new versions of the original vintage figures and figures for characters that had never been released before, or versions of characters that had never been released before. There was a very different version of Count Marzo that had appeared on the original Filmation cartoon, but the version from the Classics line came from the 2000X cartoon. We also got Prince Adam as he had appeared in some of the early mini-comics. We got a Battleground Teela from some of the early DC comics, and even Vicor, which came from some of the earliest concept art for He-Man. Now, although Draego-Man had never been produced as an action figure before, he was different from any of the other figures that I just mentioned because he wasn't previously a character at all. 2012 was the 30th anniversary of the Masters of the Universe, and the rumor is that the Four Horsemen wanted to do something special to celebrate the occasion by creating a new character that could have been released as part of Wave 1 way back in 1982. 2012 was also the year of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac, which may or may not have been an influence when creating this new character. Regardless of the reasons that led to the creation of the figure, the fact is, Draego-Man simply looks awesome. As for the name, the Four Horsemen knew they wanted the character to be something man, so that he fit in with the other first wave characters like Beast Man and Mer-Man. So the original idea was to create a dragon-like character and call him Dragon Man. Unfortunately, there was already a character from the Fantastic Four comic books trademarked by Marvel called Dragon Man, and there were even action figures of this character as well, which prevented Mattel from using the name Dragon Man for the Masters of the Universe character. As an alternative, they went with Draego-Man, which still fit the something man idea, even if it didn't work quite as well as Dragon Man would have. The idea was solid. There was a long history of dragons in the Masters of the Universe lore. They appeared in the original Filmation cartoon as well as the 2000X cartoon. There were also dragons in the Masters of the Universe books and mini-comics. Dragons have been part of the stories going back almost to the beginning of the Masters of the Universe. The Dragon Walker toy was at the very least a reference to a dragon, even if it wasn't supposed to be a literal dragon. Dragon Blast Skeletor even came with an actual small dragon figure. With all that in mind, it would totally have made sense if one of the first wave figures had been some kind of a Dragon Man. In fact, you can take a look at this old Masters of the Universe knockoff figure to see how Draego-Man might have looked if he'd been released in 1982. The Four Horsemen did a great job on this figure, even though they reused a lot of parts from other Masters of the Universe Classics figures. Draego-Man's upper arms and legs are the same as the ones on King Hiss. They reused the tail from Whiplash. I wish I hadn't sold this Whiplash figure. The torso and feet came from Hordak, and I believe the boot tops on his lower legs came from Hero. The wings and head are new for this figure, and I believe the forearms and hands and even the chest armor is new as well. There's been a little bit of confusion about Draego-Man's accessories. The reason is because the Four Horsemen wanted to really gear up this figure, but with the cost of creating so many new body parts already, the only accessory that he actually came with was a very cool flaming sword. However, the Four Horsemen had also wanted to give him a second version of the sword without the flames, as well as a flaming whip and a flaming shield. The figure was released in April of 2012, and in October, Mattel released the Great Unrest Weapons Pack, which included these 3 additional accessories. Because many of the loose Draego-Man figures have been armed with the 3 accessories from the Weapons Pack, it's led some of the newer collectors to think that Draego-Man originally came with all of these weapons. One other noteworthy fact about the accessories is that the flame part of the shield is removable, so Draego-Man can have a flaming sword and shield, or a non-flaming sword and shield. Since Draego-Man was a brand new character when he was released in 2012, there was no existing information about his history. So all of the information about this guy came from the biography on the back of his package. According to this text, Draego-Man was a magical half-human, half-dragon created by the Great Black Wizard. Draego-Man had been an ally of the Free People of Eternia, but became so disgusted with humans that he isolated himself from everyone and lived alone in the caverns of Rakash. Many years later, he heard that Skeletor planned to enslave the dragons to use them to attack the royal palace. Surprisingly, Draego-Man came out of seclusion to join up with Skeletor and his evil minions. Draego-Man has flame breath and the ability to control fire, which explains his flaming sword, whip, and shield, and makes him a great ally for Skeletor. I've been a fan of the sword and sorcery genre since I was a kid, from the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game to the appearances in comic books like Conan and Red Sonja, to fantasy art and even movies and video games. Slaying a dragon has often been the hero's quest. So adding a dragon figure to the Masters of the Universe Classics line fits right into what I want from new Masters of the Universe characters. I would have loved the figure as a kid, even though I'm sure he wouldn't have looked quite this cool. He makes a great addition to my Masters of the Universe Classics collection and also fits in pretty well with the Mythic Legions figures. I'm curious what you think of Draego-Man in particular, and what you think about the inclusion of so many characters in the Classics line that were never produced before. Which new figure is your favorite? Tell me in the comments below. Also, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have a chance, it would be great if you would share it on social media. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell. And one last thing, if you're a fan of toys, you should know about ToyLanta, the biggest toy show in the southeastern United States, held annually just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Visit ToyLanta.com for more information. As always, thanks for watching.